Your customers don't actually choose what they want on your menu. They choose what your menu makes them notice. And small things like where an item is placed, how it's priced, or what you remove can quietly push them to spend more without them even noticing it. In this video, I'll break down 10 psychological tricks you can copy to turn your menu into a system that sells for you. If you don't know me, my name is Chip Close. I'm the founder and CEO of Restaurant Strategy. So I host the Restaurant Strategy podcast. I run a coaching program called the P3 Mastermind. I give talks, I write books, all in the hopes of helping you, restaurant owners and operators, build more profitable restaurants. In this video, we're going to talk about the 10 psychological tricks, which, by the way, I didn't make them up, but I try to condense them down in a way that's really easy to understand and a way that's really easy to take action on. So 10 psychological tricks you can apply to your menu to make you more money. Number one, this is really important. We have to understand something really crucial about, how humans go through the world. Our eyes, we track things in a Z pattern, right? So trick number one is understand the Z pattern. We go upper left, upper right, middle, middle, right? Our eyes go upper left, upper right, lower left, lower right, right? Yes, we read top to bottom, left to right, but that's not how our eyes actually move. They move in that Z pattern, meaning that the upper left corner, the upper right corner, and middle of your menu are the most powerful places. So if you've got your logo in one corner, your hours in another corner, and some really cheap special in the middle, you're missing the entire point. Those areas, because they have so much strength, should be showcasing your really, really premier items, your premium items, your profitable items. This is the stuff that you want to drive people to order. So upper left, upper right, center are incredibly powerful places on a menu. Second trick, really understand that within each category, typically the first and last item sell more than everything in between. Meaning, if you got the chocolate cake, you don't necessarily have to list that first and last. People who want a chocolate cake are going to find the chocolate cake. But if there are other things, maybe more profitable things, maybe other things that you're famous for, trying to get famous for, put them in the first or last position because they'll move. There's no hard and fast rule with what to do. It's just important to understand the psychology, the human behavior, the tendency for people to order the first and last item more than anything in the middle. Psychological trick number 3, this is crucial. Please understand that less is more. Having a menu with tons of stuff on it isn't the way anymore. Unless you get a diner and your whole point is to have everything, I want you to embrace the white space. Really understand, really ask yourself, or really go ask your customers, what are the things you're famous for? What are the things that you are most known for? What are the things you do better than anywhere else, right? That's why people come to you. So if you're a steakhouse, you are best at steaks. Do you have to have a chicken or a fish? Yes. Do you have to have a vegetarian option? Yes. But what you do is steak. What you do is premium cuts. So put that front and center. Don't feel like you got to make every single person happy. You don't need pasta and a kids section and 2 kinds of fish and a chicken and pheasant, and you don't. You're a steakhouse. So own that, embrace that, have steak, and then have something for people who really don't want steak. And all you're doing, you're trying to cater to that one person who got dragged along on a client meeting or a business dinner and really doesn't like steak or doesn't eat steak. Then you want to serve something for them. But you don't have to you don't have to give them exactly what they want. They have 6 other dinners this week, and they can make or go out and get exactly what they want. So the purpose of that is just to serve those people in those rare moments. But less is more. Embrace the white space. Trick number 4, callouts work. So use boxes and fonts and arrows and icons and logos. Don't go overkill, right? But utilize those in very strategic places, right? Meaning, if you've got some really fancy steak, a big tomahawk chop for 2, and you love to showcase it, put that in a box, put that center of your menu, right? That's how we use the real estate on the menu, that center location, and that's how we use a box, a call out. These things can be incredibly powerful. Trick number 5, why not pull, if you've got an item that's a signature or really profitable, why not pull it from your menu altogether and let your servers hand sell it? This will allow you to only keep a couple of them in there. Perfect example is the tomahawk. Now, maybe you want to list your tomahawk chop on the menu, but maybe you don't move that many, so you don't bring that many in. So having a server saying, here are the menus. Some of my favorites are this, and this. This one's our signature dish, and there's actually one item not listed. We have a tomahawk chop. It sells out every single night. We only have 2 of them tonight. It's available for X number of dollars, right? That way, when you do run out, you don't have to go to the table and say, hey, just so you know, we have a couple 86s, right? You don't put yourself in a position of having to apologize. You just tell people when you have it, and then you get to use all your excitement and passion and energy and descriptive words to actually sell that by hand. I'm telling you, an excited server will sell it more than just black and white fonts on a page. Number 6, premium items, right? This gets to the heart of the idea of price anchoring. So every single category on your menu should have a premium item, meaning if all your appetizers are between $11 and $15, you should have one that's $24. If all of your entrees are between, 20 and 30, have one that's $44. Have something that is meaningfully more expensive than the next cheapest thing, because it makes everything else, right? There's 2 reasons. Number 1, it makes everything else look that much more reasonable. And there are people who just want to get the best thing on the menu. They're there to celebrate. They want to show off to a client. They want to show off for a date. So if people want to show off, if people want to celebrate, people want to get the most expensive thing, give them an opportunity to spend money. This works for cocktails, sides, appetizers, entrees, desserts, wines, over and over. Use that idea of price anchoring and put premium items in every single category. Number 7, consider having items for 2. So I talked about the tomahawk chop. It's a great opportunity. Or do like an apple tart, or like a key lime pie for 2, or an appetizer for 2, a Caesar salad for 2 that's tossed tableside and served. Those items for 2 are also really powerful, because maybe one person wanted an appetizer, the other person wasn't going to have something, be like, oh, I'd really love to get this. I think that'll be great. People are like, yeah, okay, I'll do it with you. And now you've convinced someone who wasn't going to do an appetizer to do an appetizer. Number 8, this one's tough. I got a lot of flack for this, but get rid of the dollar signs on the menu and get rid of the decimal points. So only list whole numbers. Here's the thing. Spending money, right? We don't want to be reminded of being parted with our money. And the 2 things that remind us of spending money are dollar signs and decimal points. The only time we see number, dot, number is when it's something for sale, right? Get rid of the 99s and the 95s. It doesn't work anymore. It was a cheap trick back in the 60s and 70s. I'm telling you, people are smarter than that now. Just go to whole numbers and scrap the dollar signs. You will thank me for it. So again, everything's $11, $14, $29. Don't do the $29.95. It feels cheap. It's like we've got like frozen lobster tails. Number 9, put your beverages on a separate menu. In fact, greet with a separate beverage menu before you bring food. Because as soon as you bring them a food menu, then they got reading material and they're trying to figure out what they're going to eat. And when you come over and say, hey, I'd love to start you off with something to drink, and they're like, oh, I'm going to figure out what I'm going to eat first. And no, it defeats the purpose. I want to get someone to drink. So you come over and say, hey, can I offer you something from the bar, something to sip on while you're looking at menus? And in fact, I would coach my servers to come over and say, hi, how's everyone doing? My name's Chip. I'll be taking care of you. I'll be over with menus in just a second, but I'd love to get you started with something from the bar. Would anyone like a beer, a cocktail, maybe a glass of champagne, or whatever it is you sell? But if the first thing you want people to do is get a beverage, and that should be it, then only give them the thing that they need to consider. So I would have your hostess just sit with a drink menu. And so they say, here's your table, your server will be right with you in just a second. I've left here the cocktail list. We've got here beers and wines by the glass listed as well. When your server comes over, they'll go ahead and get your drink order. Like, cue them up for what comes next. But if what you want them to do is order a drink, then only let them consider drinks. Finally, then the last thing, and it's right in keeping with this, number 10, desserts listed on a separate menu. Don't put them on the main menu, and always list dessert beverages along with the desserts. So I actually don't care if they get desserts. I want the coffees, the cappuccinos, the scotches, the dessert wines, all of that. And I promise you, even in the most low-key place, most casual place, you can sell coffees or cappuccinos or an espresso martini. It doesn't have to be some high-end, expensive glass of dessert wine. So those are the 10 psychological tricks. I didn't make them up. I'm just sharing them with you. Appreciate you guys being here. Again, my name is Chip Close. I'm the founder and CEO of Restaurant Strategy. These videos are all meant to help you level up and build a more profitable restaurant. If you haven't checked out any of the other videos, make them check out. We've got tons of shorts in there, tons of little bite-sized tips to help you. Again, appreciate it. I will see you on the next one.